Ilia Topuria's rise in mixed martial arts is one of the most dominant and confident ascents the UFC has witnessed in recent years. A fighter who did not simply climb the rankings but shattered expectations at every level, establishing himself as a champion with belief, power, and absolute conviction in his skills. From his earliest appearances inside the octagon, it was clear that Topuria carried himself differently, not as someone hoping to belong, but as someone who already believed the division belonged to him. This mindset, combined with elite technique and physical strength, allowed him to separate himself from the rest of the pack very quickly. His undefeated run, backed by brutal knockouts and composed performances, transformed him from a promising contender into one of the most feared men in the sport. Unlike fighters who rely purely on chaos or raw aggression, Topuria displayed patience, precision, and calculated violence. Each victory added another layer to his aura, making opponents hesitant before the fight even began. As 2026 approaches, the MO world watches closely because the future of Ilia Topuria may define the next era of the UFC lightweight division. This division has always been the deepest and most unforgiving in the UFC, producing legends, wars, and constant turnover at the top. For Topuria to stand above it, even briefly, places him in rare historical company. After capturing gold and solidifying his place among the elite, Topuria entered a phase rarely discussed in combat sports, the phase of responsibility, pressure, and expectation, where every move carries consequences far beyond personal ambition. Winning the belt changes everything. Training camps become heavier, media attention increases, and criticism grows louder. Every decision is now analyzed through the lens of legacy rather than potential. Champions do not simply fight for wins anymore. They fight for legacy, timing, and control over their narrative. A single loss can shift perception, while a single dominant defense can elevate a career forever. Topuria understands that championships are remembered not by how they are won, but by how they are defended. This is where Ilia Topuria now stands, at the center of a division filled with killers, superstars, and unfinished business. Every contender below him believes they are one fight away from taking his place. The target on his back is larger than ever, and there is no hiding from it. Early in 2026, news emerged that Topuria would not be competing in the opening months of the year, a decision that immediately sparked debate, speculation, and controversy across the EMA community. Fans are conditioned to expect champions to fight constantly, often forgetting the physical and mental toll of elite competition. The announcement challenged that expectation and forced people to see the fighter behind the belt. Some fans questioned the delay, others respected the choice, and many understood the human side of a fighter stepping away during a difficult personal period. EMA is a brutal sport, but fighters are still human beings with lives beyond the cage. Acknowledging that reality does not weaken a champion, it adds depth to their story. This absence did not weaken his status. Instead, it intensified the tension surrounding his eventual return. The longer a champion stays away, the louder the anticipation becomes. Silence creates mystery, and mystery fuels hype. In modern MMA, inactivity often leads to doubt, but in Topuria's case, silence only added weight to his presence. He did not flood the media with excuses or constant updates. He allowed speculation to grow while remaining focused on preparation. Every interview, every social media post, every training clip became a signal, suggesting preparation rather than retreat. Fans dissected his words, his physique, and even his training partners. Each glimpse reinforced the idea that he was not gone, only waiting. Champions do not disappear, they reload, and Topuria's time away hinted at a calculated pause rather than hesitation. History shows that many great champions stepped away briefly before returning stronger and more focused. This break may prove to be a defining moment rather than a setback. The lightweight division does not pause for anyone, even its champion. While Topuria stepped back, contenders continued to rise, sharpen their skills, and position themselves for opportunity. This creates a more dangerous environment for any returning champion. By the time Topuria returns, the division will likely look different. New contenders will emerge, rankings will shift, and momentum will belong to others. Reclaiming momentum is often harder than building it in the first place. One of the most critical factors in Topuria's 2026 future is timing. Returning too early risks performance and health, while returning too late risks relevance and control of the division. Finding that balance is a challenge only champions face. When Topuria steps back into the octagon, it will not be for a quiet comeback. The UFC rarely allows champions to ease back into competition. Every fight will be high stakes, high pressure, and heavily scrutinized. Potential opponents represent different types of danger. Some bring elite grappling, others relentless pressure, and some devastating knockout power. Each matchup tests a different part of Topuria's game. What makes Topuria unique is his confidence in every area of MMA. He believes he can knock out strikers, out-grapple wrestlers, and out-think veterans. This confidence is not reckless. It is backed by consistent performance. Mental strength will play a huge role in 2026. Championship fights are often decided by composure under pressure rather than technique alone. Topuria's calm demeanor could be his greatest weapon. There is also the matter of legacy. Every champion eventually faces the question of how they want to be remembered. Quantity of defenses or quality of opponents becomes the ultimate debate. Topuria appears to be a fighter who values challenge over safety. His words and actions suggest a willingness to face the toughest names available. This mindset is what creates legends, but it also carries risk. Training camps moving forward will be more refined and strategic. The focus shifts from proving oneself to preserving longevity. Smart preparation becomes as important as hard preparation. The physical evolution of a champion is unavoidable. Recovery, injury management, and conditioning become critical factors. Fighters who adapt extend their reigns, those who do not fade quickly. Fans often overlook the psychological burden of being champion. Every opponent studies you, every weakness is analyzed. There is no element of surprise anymore. Topuria must now reinvent himself without losing what made him dangerous. Small improvements, tactical adjustments, and strategic discipline will define his future. This is the true test of greatness. The UFC also plays a major role in shaping his path. Matchmaking decisions can elevate or complicate a champion's reign. The promotion understands Topuria's star potential. As a bilingual, internationally marketable champion, Topuria represents global MMA. His fights resonate beyond one country or region. This increases both opportunity and pressure. Every era has fighters who define it. Fighters whose presence changes the tone of a division. Topuria has the potential to be that figure for the next generation. His return in 2026 will be more than a fight. It will be a statement about resilience, focus, and ambition. Fans will judge not just the result, but the performance. Win or lose, that moment will shape how his reign is remembered. Champions are immortalized by moments, not records alone. Topuria's next moment is approaching. As anticipation builds, one truth becomes clear. Ilia Topuria is not running from challenges. He is preparing for them. The lightweight division may be the most dangerous place in MMA, but it is also where legends are made. And Ilia Topuria seems determined to leave his mark. The lightweight division in 2026 is not waiting quietly. It is moving, evolving, and sharpening itself for war. With contenders climbing, interim titles discussed, and rivalries forming, the landscape Topuria will return to is more dangerous than ever. This sets the stage for one of the most anticipated championship returns in recent UFC history. One of the biggest questions surrounding Ilia Topuria's 2026 future is timing, because timing in MMA can make or break dynasties. A return too early risks performance, while a return too late invites chaos in the rankings and pressure from the promotion. Most signs point toward a spring or mid-year comeback, allowing Topuria to return at full strength, both mentally and physically. When Topuria does step back into the octagon, it will not be for a tune-up fight or a low-risk matchup. Every possible opponent represents a legacy-defining challenge, each one capable of changing the trajectory of his reign. This is the burden of being champion. You do not choose easy, you choose history. Among the most talked about matchups for 2026 is the potential collision between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev. This fight is not just about belts. It is about styles, philosophies, and dominance across generations of elite grappling and striking. Fans see it as a clash between ruthless control and fearless aggression, a fight that could define pound-for-pound supremacy. Makhachev represents discipline, pressure, and system-based excellence, a product of Dagestani mastery refined through years of elite competition. Topuria represents belief, knockout power, and complete confidence in finishing any opponent anywhere the fight goes. If this fight happens in 2026, it would be one of the biggest events in UFC history. Another storyline building momentum is the potential unification bout, should an interim lightweight champion emerge during Topuria's absence. Unification fights carry a unique intensity because they are not about earning gold, but proving ownership of it. Topuria returning to face an interim champion would be a statement fight, a declaration that the throne was never vacant. Paddy Pimblett's name continues to surface in conversations surrounding Topuria's future, fueled by hype, personality, and rapid rise. A matchup between the two would blend skill and spectacle, chaos and confidence, global attention and intense rivalry. While critics debate competitiveness, the promotional impact of such a fight would be massive. Beyond hype fights, there are technical nightmares waiting in the division, fighters like Charles Oliveira, Arman Tsarukyan, and other elite contenders. These opponents do not rely on noise or attention, they rely on pressure, precision, and experience at the highest level. Any one of them could test Topuria in ways he has not yet been tested. Charles Oliveira, with his submission mastery and comeback ability, presents a dangerous puzzle for any champion. One mistake against Oliveira can end a fight instantly, regardless of momentum or control. A Topuria versus Oliveira matchup would be chaos, danger, and high-level finishing ability on both sides. Arman Tsarukyan represents youth, speed, and evolving excellence, a fighter who grows sharper with every appearance. His wrestling, pace, and resilience could push Topuria into deep waters across 5 hard rounds. This fight would be less about hype and more about pure elite competition. What separates Ilia Topuria from many champions is his mindset, an unshakable belief that he is destined for greatness. This belief is not loud bravado. It is calm certainty, expressed through performance rather than words. Fighters sense this confidence, and it changes the way they approach him before the bell even rings. In 2026, mental warfare will be as important as physical preparation. Topuria's ability to remain composed under pressure, ignore distractions, and execute his game plan will define his reign. Championship fights are rarely won by skill alone. They are won by control of emotion and timing. The UFC's role in shaping Topuria's future cannot be ignored because matchmaking determines legacy. Placing him in megafights elevates the sport while protecting the division's credibility. 2026 may be the year where the promotion fully commits to Topuria as a global face of MMA. From a historical perspective, fighters who dominate their era do so by embracing risk. Avoiding challenges may extend reigns, but facing danger builds legends. Ilia Topuria's upcoming fights will reveal which path he chooses. Fans often forget that champions carry more than belts. They carry expectations of nations, cultures, and entire fan bases. Topuria's representation of Georgia and Spain adds layers of pride and pressure to every appearance. Each fight becomes bigger than sport. It becomes symbolic. Training camps in 2026 will be different for Topuria, more strategic, more selective, more focused on longevity. The body changes, recovery becomes essential, and preparation becomes surgical rather than reckless. This evolution often marks the transition from champion to all-time great. As rumors swirl and debates rage, one truth remains constant. Ilia Topuria is not done writing his story. His silence is not weakness, it is anticipation. When he returns, the lightweight division will feel the shift immediately. Every era of the UFC has a defining figure, someone who captures imagination and fear simultaneously. For the next generation of fans, Ilia Topuria may be that figure. 2026 could be the year where he moves from champion to legend. The countdown to his return is not measured in weeks or months, but in tension. Fighters prepare knowing he's coming back. Fans wait knowing something explosive is inevitable. Ilia Topuria's upcoming fights in 2026 are not just matchups, they are moments waiting to happen. Each potential opponent represents a different chapter, a different challenge, a different test of greatness. And when the octagon door closes, only one truth will matter. Legacy is earned one fight at a time.